Hello, my name is Brenda. I was born in Hackensack, New Jersey. Something that marked my life is that when I was 11 years old, my parents got divorced. And I kind of took advantage of that moment because my mom, you know, she was a single mom, and as a single mother, it's hard to really tell your children what to do as a father could. So I would kind of manipulate my mom to kind of get her to do what I wanted, and I didn't really understand, but I was actually hurting her leaving, going to New York. It was actually something that was separating me from the will of God. I ended up getting into weed. I ended up getting into smoking, into drinking, hanging around with the wrong people. I went to a dance studio because that's what I went to New York for, to do dance. In the midst of that, I started getting even more depressed because I got into a very toxic relationship. One of the symptoms, one of the feelings that I had when I was experiencing the whole maniac bipolar disorder, as so the doctors say, I was having thoughts in my head coming back from the dance studio. In the subway station, I heard the voices, saying, "You have to sing this song." So it was super awkward. I was like, whatever, but I was like those crazy people, on the subway station, and I was just singing the song because the devil said, you have to sing the song, and if you don't sing it, something's bad's gonna happen. And then I started realizing that the devil's like, oh, they have to sing with you. And I'm trying to convince all the people in the subway, I'm like, sing with me. And they're just looking at me like, what is going on with this girl? To see nobody was singing with me, I started getting antsy, and I started shaking, and I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And I started getting angry, and I started punching the subway. They called the cops on me, and they were like, oh, this girl, she's out of control. I was on the floor, and the cops came, and one of them tried to come, and they couldn't handle me, so they got both, and they just handcuffed me. And then I went, to the mental hospital. The same situation. I was in New York, and my mom said, we have to go to Miami, we have to, because you're getting really bad here. The psychiatrist didn't know what to do with me anymore. So it was pretty much like everybody was hopeless. They didn't know what to do. So I was in my room back in Miami, and I said, God, if you do exist and you really do say that you're alive the way that you say you are, then I'm gonna need you to show me, because I'm gonna go to youth service, but if you don't show up, I'm going to end my life. So I went. Pastor Brian Maldonado was there, and he was preaching, and at the end he said the calling, and he said, if anyone wants to come to the front, come and receive Jesus. And I remember him just taking a really long time, and I'm like, what is he waiting for? And he's like, I'll wait till 12 midnight until you get here. And I heard the voice of God that said, what are you waiting for? When I heard that voice, I was like, you're right. It was like, I got taken back to a vision of when I was in my room. And I said, if you don't deliver me and you don't set me free, something's gonna happen to me. And so I was like, you know what? I was like, you're right. I started crying profusely, and I went to the front, and Pastor Brian Maldonado was like, there she is. And I got to the floor, they delivered me, set me free completely from depression, completely from bipolar and maniac disorder. And I never had to take medication again, ever since. And my mom, she looked at me in the eyes that same night, and she said, my daughter's back. And the most powerful thing is that I know that I was set free and delivered for sure, because I didn't do the same things anymore. The reason I know that I'm in the will of God is because I'm alive. I wouldn't be here. I know I'm in the will of God because I'm not alone. I don't ever feel alone. I never have to suffer again being alone. I never have to suffer again to feel depressed. I never have to suffer again to know that I'm just accepted from the Lord. I know who I am in God. I have a Father that loves me beyond anybody else in the world. Anybody can fail me, but my God won't. I know that I'm in the will of God because when you've been through so much and you've tried everything, you tried the whole thing, you looked for everywhere else, you get to the point where you're in rock bottom and you have to find who you are. And guess what? The only one that you'll find is Jesus. The only one that you'll find that will be there at that lowest point. Jesus went to hell and back for you. So of course he'll reach you at rock bottom. There's nowhere he cannot go. So he found me. And when he found me, where I was at, it's like I can do anything.